I did, yeah. I was just about to pitch in with another point. So it was written. Can you give us a date for it, or can you just give us a roughly?
Without looking at the book, I've just forgot. But it's
just do that again. You sound like Donald Duck.
That sounded fucking awful.
Without looking at the book, it's a good 20 years ago it was written.
So we're looking at like the early to mid 80s,
yeah,
for example.
Yeah.
Obviously, they still have. It might be a bit of a tenuous connection now, but it still has a connection with the topic, as in Jenny Randles wrote the foreword. Now she has actually stuck her neck out and professed this to be a true story. That's what she did at the time. How much of that do you think was genuine belief in the subject matter, or how much do you think it was maybe for a payment? Because obviously she would have received some form of remuneration for it. Or remuneration, actually.
Possibly. I think it were a case of her liking to get her name known.
I was just going to say that. Do you think it was just another outlet for her to get her name bandied about, to get her credentials?
Because bear in mind
noticed.
What you said there, you get these people starting off a few years ago like Randalls, and now 20 years later, they're legends. They're experts now.
I suppose the logical conclusion of that would be to ask Jenny Randalls now to review what she thinks of the Greenstone and to see what
absolutely.
Does she still stand by her forward, or would she change based on her life experience?
Could it not be that when Jenny Randalls and her ilk came to the national population, as they I'll do that again, that was shit, wasn't it? At the time that Jenny Randalls came to the public's attention, that's exactly the one I'm looking for. Could that, even though we had the Kenneth Arnold and the Roswell incidents from before, there was a booming interest around the late 70s, early 80s in paranormal phenomena and UFOs in particular. So, as I mentioned earlier, it may not be as much of a cash cow these days as it may have been when it was at the peak of its popularity, when people like Jenny Randalls first come to
I think
the public's attention.
That's a fair point.
Over years, she's just got herself into the latest quirk of the day, the crop circles, the bit paranormal. She wants to, and now she's, like I say, there were a programme that used to come on, series called Strange But True, and it roasted with Michael Aspel, and of course one of the what?
Sorry. Thinking before he looked like puppets.
Well, his appearance did actually change because I think he'd been ill.
I think he found more paranormal phenomena on Give Us a Clue when he shared that, actually. But
he hosted this programme, and of course when credits going up at end, consultants, Jenny Randalls. She's just made a niche for herself, so I think she's jumped on back about, because she did write a particular book. I don't know if anybody's au fait with the Alan Godfrey case from Todmorden. He was a policeman who were called out to cows blocking a road, and when he got there were a UFO down on the Druid and all this kind of thing.
This is again since 70s, isn't it? This I remember this. He was a policeman.
He was a policeman, yeah, and he had this particular experience.
A very credible profession.
Well, they always said that if you're looking for witnesses, if you're looking for credible witnesses, people like policemen, airline pilots, they're very good, because part of the job is observation.
Yeah.
And taking a logical, cold hard look at things.
But the only problem with Godfrey case was he underwent hypnosis, right? But during the hypnosis, he said he's seen a craft on the road hovering at, so many feet and all this kind of paraphernalia. Then all of a sudden he was further on down the road, right? Which is fine and all this, but when he underwent hypnotic regression, the thing that spoilt it altogether he saw little men with long beards, and it was just...
Which just kind of made us parade a bit, don't they?
They were in the UFO. He was like a godlike figure, you know, and all this.
I'll say aliens are Smurfs.
But the funny thing about it, a few months prior to this experience, what he had on this road in Todmorden, there was a body found, and he attended the call, and it were a body of a chap called Zygmunt Adamski, and he was dead on top of this big pile of coal, like he'd been dropped from a big height. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I'm right in thinking that's the chap whose injuries were conclusive with being dropped.
That's right.
They were an old guy, so he
coroner,
couldn't walk up there and...
The coroner actually said on record, if he himself seen a UFO, you know, if he could say that they really existed, then he would fill that autopsy report in with one eyebrow raised. Because of the fellow's injuries, because of it, you know. And the attending police officer, as it happens, was Alan Godfrey. And one book that came out about this Adamski business was written by Jenny Randalls.
She seems to pop up.
Yeah,
is she perhaps an alien?
Well, this is it. But you know what I mean? When you look over a period of time, there's little things that keep cropping up, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So this UFO business, I'm not right sure about this, but I'm not right sure that they're extraterrestrial. Okay. I think they could be interdimensional.
Are you Nick Bob in disguise?
I have to stand up and confess I am. I'm not Jenny Randalls anyway.
Well,
but I think they could be interdimensional. I don't necessarily think that...
Coming from which dimension?
Well, this is going to sound really strange, but there's a... Down near Avebury Stone Circle, there is a facility down there. And for quite some considerable time, they've been working on particle acceleration, right? And... there's a road that runs down by the stones, and it's an ancient road, and that's always been associated with strange phenomena, right? There's a caravan, a right old-fashioned caravan, supposed to appear and go down there and then disappear into nothing, and it is thought that this particle acceleration facility is perhaps causing phenomena outside, you know, possibly to do with time, or to do, you know, that they're not aware, that they haven't been aware of, like a side effect, if you will, and it could be causing.
Well, ironically, we're going to look at time in a future podcast. Or have we already done it and we haven't visited it yet?
We could have done.
That's the question. But you're with Paranormal Blackburn again. If you have any thoughts, concerns, questions, comments or stories for us, give us an email. It's madeinblackburn@yahoo.co.uk.